Thank you so much for the invitation to present today. I am from Narika. I joined actually when I was I think a sophomore in college, and I started off actually at SAVE in Fremont as a volunteer for outreach events. And I decided, you know what, I think it's time to join another organization while, going to school full-time and working full-time, that has to do with where I'm from. So I'm half Indian, half Pakistani. And I decided to join Narika with their seed program that they were running. And I was one of the first, actually, instructors for computer literacy. So I've been with them for about 8 years now. I joined staff last year as the outreach and seed program coordinator. So Narika's vision is an individual who is empowered to be their cultural self, yet integrates with confidence into mainstream with the knowledge of free choice. And Narika's mission is to promote the empowerment of women in the South Asian community and other underserved populations to confront and overcome the cycles of domestic violence and exploitation. We work to build a movement to end domestic violence against women and to actively support women's rights as human rights. So today's goals are understanding challenges faced by culturally specific service providers, to identify prominent themes of South Asian domestic violence, and to determine ways to seek and give information to South Asian victims. So these are the programs that we offer at Narika. We have a helpline that actually runs from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. This was a slight change because we had advocates that were answering phones literally 24/7. So if anybody called at 2 a.m., we answered the phone and we did what we needed to do. So this change needed to come to have a little bit of self-care within our advocates. And the helpline is culturally sensitive and non-judgmental advocacy-based counseling. And our advocates actually do the case management, which is also culturally sensitive and non-judgmental advocacy-based counseling. They do a lot of safety planning with our clients that call us. There's a lot of legal, shelter, and counseling referrals. We also do accompaniment with the clients that call us, and there's a lot of crisis support. Then we also have a health and wellness program, which is actually our support groups, and we currently have 2 running. One is in Fremont, and the other is in Pleasanton, both confidential locations. And this is not just for our clients, but this is also for any other agencies that would like to have their clients go through support group, which is a 10-week curriculum-based program that we are running. And then we also have the SEED program, which is what I coordinate. The 10-week intervention program is for women that have either been in a domestic violence situation for 2 years, like if they've been in it. Actually, no, let me take that back. It's where they're in the situation, they're out of it, and when they've come out of it, it's been less than 2 years of being in a violent relationship. And then the community 8-week program is actually open to any woman that is over the age of 18 and would love to come in and just take a free class. Everything that Narika offers is free. And within both of these programs, we offer ESL, we offer computer literacy, there's financial literacy, and then there's also computer literacy. So Narika at a glance. So Narika is a non-profit organization, a group of South Asians representing countries in the region called South Asia. And then also Narika provides culturally specific services to their callers. The purpose is to provide support and referrals to women and children in abusive situations and the varied lives of South Asian women within the United States. So the at a glance is continued, and we've been around for about 24 years. We receive 1,600 plus calls a year on our helpline, and it serves clients from approximately 6 countries. We have supported 480 people in the past year, and then also 48 women have graduated from the SEED program in the past year. So a client profile, just like the last speaker mentioned, South Asian women. They're either Bangladeshi, Indian, Nepali, Pakistani, Sri Lankan, and then also the South Asian diaspora and new immigrants. And their background is that they're single or they're married, they have children, they do not have children, they're professional, they're homemakers, they're undocumented, or they're first or second generation here within the United States. So why should we consider culture? Culture shapes an individual's experience of violence. It also shapes the perpetrator's response to intervention and acceptance of responsibility. Culture shapes access to other services that might be crucial for the victim. And the culture of the advocate or professional, the system and the victim will impact the outcome. So we are a diverse spectrum. On the left side, it is in Roman Hindi, and on the right side, it is actually in English for you guys. So this is technically what I feel. I was born in the United States, but I was still told this, that every girl it's ingrained in her. When you get married is the first time when you leave your father's house. And if you're going to leave another house, it's going to be from your husband's house, but in a casket. So that is basically a lot of our clients that call. That is what has been ingrained in them, and that is what they are thinking. That, you know what, at the end of the day, he's still my husband, and I either do or do not have children. It does not matter, but he's my husband, and that's it. So abuse in South Asian culture, there are multiple perpetrators. It's not just the husband, it can be his family as well. It can be her family that is saying, you know what, such and such is happening and it's completely fine. It's non-physical control tactics. It is financial communication. There's a lot of movement control with technology nowadays. A lot of our clients that call us, we go through safety training and we actually tell them, hey, during your safety planning, I know that you called from a safe phone, but please delete the number. Please delete the history. If you've gone to our website or any other specific websites, please delete the history. They're immigration hurdles, there's forced marriages, there's arranged marriages, rigid gender roles, family values, pressure from the natal family, and then children are used as pawns. A lot of our clients that call, they have children, and they say, well, if I divorce him or if I decide to leave, I can't because he's threatening to take away the children. He's threatening to send them back to his family back home in India or Pakistan or Sri Lanka. So we do get a lot of calls like that. So reasonable assumptions for the survivor: there's no bank account, she has zero access to funds, may or may not drive, possess a car or driver's license, refusal to call 911. This is a very, very big one. They feel as though if 911 shows up and the neighbors see, then the neighbors will know something is going on. Divorce or separation is rarely acceptable, especially in the older population. And more than likely they will return to the abuser. So for the perpetrator, the reasonable assumptions are complete control and knowledge of finances, will rarely use firearms and dangerous physical control mechanisms, threatens denying or controlling communication. The natal family gets involved. I mean, he'll call her family and say, well, she's doing this, this, and this, and overly exaggerate what's really going on, and then she will also hear it from her family. And then marital rape is acceptable and it's not a crime. So when a lot of our clients call us, we have to go back to the first night of their marriage to find out how their marriage started. And a lot of them will open up right away and say, well, I wasn't ready and I had no idea what was going on, but it's completely fine because he's my husband. And my family said it's completely fine. This is just the way it's supposed to be. So very, very slowly, as we're working with our clients, more and more details start to come out. So immigration issues with the individuals that call us, they can work legally. They're U.S. citizens. They have a permanent green card, conditional green card. They're on an H-1. And then they can also not work within the United States. They're on dependent visas. They are on the spouse of a student, the F-2. They're illegal or they're visiting. So identifying abuse in South Asian culture. So please, times a million, avoid the use of family members, including children and elderly relatives, as translators. We had a case actually a couple of years ago where a elderly individual called us and she said that my granddaughter, the eldest one, is abusing me and I really need help. We did the safety planning, we did everything. And we had told her the very next morning, we're gonna come in, we're gonna take care of everything, your family's not home. That evening, the cops were called, she called them, she said in her broken English, such and such is happening, and they actually used the granddaughter that was abusing her as the translator. So she basically translated and said, nothing's happening, everything's fine, don't worry about it. So the next morning when we tried to contact her, we had no idea where she was, and we are unable to track down what had happened. So using a family member as a translator is, please, a million times, do not do it. And it's not just family, even if it is a close friend, it's best to call an agency that you know that actually has translators and have them come out and help. And then also provide explanation for questions, so mandated by law, professional regulations, and all information gathered is strictly confidential and for their own protection. When you do receive a call from a South Asian individual, please tell them this is a confidential conversation. In our community, it is ginormous to gossip and to talk and tell people everything. Basically, air your dirty laundry. So the best thing to do is tell them a million times over, this is completely confidential. This will not leave the between you and I. Nobody else is going to look at my case notes. And as long as you reinstate it over and over again, even if they've been a client for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, whatever it is, if you're able to just tell them that and explain it to them, they will be a million times more comfortable and confident in telling you what is really happening. So identifying abuse in the South Asian culture. These are just some sample questions. So if you do receive calls from individuals or if an individual walks in and they're from the South Asian culture, I know these are very basic questions that you think people know, but when you are in a traumatic state and you are in a situation or a marriage where you think everything is normal and fine, these questions definitely apply. So do you get enough food to eat? We had a case where a neighbor walked over, knocked on the door because she accidentally got mail in her mailbox and was handing it over to the husband, and he accidentally opened the door a little too far, and she saw the wife in a cage, like behind him. So she called the police, and the police called us and said, well, she's saying that, they are from India, such and such. So we went out and we were able to, get her out of the situation. And she was getting no food. She was not allowed to meet any of her friends. She was basically cut off from everybody. So, are you getting enough food? Is there enough groceries at home for you? Can you contact your friends and relatives on the phone without being monitored? Do you or your children get to see a doctor or a medical profession? So information flow in South Asian communities, very, very close-knit community. Like I said, gossip is everything and everybody needs to know everything. Religion is very, very big. Art and music, so the festivals, the celebrations, the dances, conversations with tech-savvy immigrant populations, and then also culture of communal sharing. So I know I went really, really quickly, but I can see people are totally ready for like a break or something. So are there any questions about Narika, our services, what we provide? Yes. So our counties are Contra Costa and Tri-Valley and basically just all of Alameda. But we actually do receive calls from India. We receive calls from Europe. We receive calls from other states where women are like, we found your number, we need help, just help us. And the way that our agency is set up, we will help. And even if you are not South Asian and you are calling, we will help you. If we are not able to give you the specific services that you need, that's the reason why we have so many referrals and so many partnering agencies just in Alameda County, it's amazing how many there are. So we have had mail callers. We've had mail callers call us and say such and such is happening, and we've always referred them out. And it's not just, here's a number, call yourself. It's literally, we will pick up the phone, call the other agency and say, this is the situation. We have the release of information. We're faxing it over to you. We need to talk to you about this specific person. And then we do a warm handoff. So, yeah.
Please give a.
Thank you.